Okay, guys, I'm gonna be doing my Revenge of the Sith full film breakdown. So let's get started. Honestly, this is the first opening crawl that I remember any real lines to, and it's quite short. War exclamation part. I just remember that. It sticks out. It's a war. And that's like honestly a good way to describe this film. I mean, it's all war. It's bloody and it's great but it's also war, but also has dramatic elements, has sad elements, happy elements, heroic elements, scary elements. So it has it all. But so right off the bat, it is definitely the best of the prequels. And honestly, one of my favorite Star Wars films. And then we start off the film with a great 3-minute opening sequence, a one-shot sequence, and it's just stunning, visually stunning. And like I said, war. The cruisers firing at, and you could just tell right from the beginning that this film is going to be unique. And that it isn't your typical, fantasy, sci-fi, comedy, thriller, and action film that the others were. And it's just brutal, and it's exciting, because it's like, I think being a fan of Clone Wars, the show, the opening sequence screams my love of Clone Wars, screams Clone Wars in that. And yeah, the banter between Anakin and Obi-Wan is just brilliant in many, many different ways, From Anakin being, you see the stuff that Obi-Wan talks about when he talked to Luke in New Hope. Talking about how he's a cunning warrior. You see that. How he's a great starfighter pilot. You see him, trying to help Obi-Wan and pilot. And just a good friend is something you see in the first act really well. And it's like something that makes Anakin's turn later in the film so sad and so disheartening later. And yeah, again, great action right from the start. Great look and feel. And yeah, I mean, they land they have a narrow land on the planet. On the cruiser, on the Separatist cruiser, and it's just like you can feel the urgency, just right from the beginning. You could tell this film, again, like I said, is a very unique film in the trilogy and in this saga. And I do like that we get like a kind of quick glimpse of the clones. I mean, the clones never get fully developed in this film. But Clone Wars does, like I said, I'll talk about Clone Wars a lot. But Clone Wars does do a lot to establish its all whereabouts. And then they go, and then there's the whole elevator sequence. I thought it was, kind of funny how like R2 had to, take the elevator up to go to Obi-Wan or Anakin, but at the same time he was attacked by super battle droids. And honestly, R2 in action is kind of cool. It is cool. And they go on the elevator, then they kill a few battle droids, and honestly, I think like this sequence, like I said, screams Clone Wars. And as a diehard, Clone Wars fan, I think this opening sequence is one of the greatest openings ever. And Star Wars openings kind of stick with like a theme of like not really having to do with the overall story, but that's okay. You know what I mean? When you think of the whole beginning on Tatooine, or you think of the beginning on Hoth and the Wampas, and you think of the Jabba and all that, and then you think of this, and you think of, a bunch of stuff, and the thing on Jakku, and all this stuff, where it's like, but it's still exciting. It's still great because it's still Star Wars, and this film develops the war needed. And it's like, you could tell right from the beginning how epic on scale this film is going to be, when it's like a climactic battle of the last film is like in like the first 10 minutes of this film, talking about Count Dooku versus Anakin and Obi-Wan, and this duel was much, much better. And it's unfortunate this is like the only good duel that we see with Anakin and Obi-Wan together against an opponent, in this case being Dooku. I mean, it's good. It's really good. Where it's like, it's not supposed to be a huge climactic battle, because that's to come later, but you do get a lot of great moments, Count Dooku in action, I thought, was always cool. I don't think he's one of my favorite villains, but I think his action scenes could be and are cool. And I think, again, what it does is nicely is develop, hints of Anakin's dark side. When he decapitates Count Dooku, and like you could just hear the cloud of Palpatine whispering into his ear, "Do it." But yeah, the duel was great. I like the location of the throne room, echoing Return of the Jedi, and just showing like how he accomplished that with Anakin, but that didn't obviously mean that he would accomplish the same turning to the dark side that he did to Luke. He couldn't accomplish that. And then we move. Then they get captured. And then move on to Grievous. Grievous is also cool. I think he was a cool kind of, I guess, henchman, because like he ultimately is somewhat of a henchman, in the nature of it. But I like the fight with the Magna Guards. I like the styling and the locale of the head of the ship, and the coloring and the lighting and all of it. Oh, it's great. And you see, because Palpatine's in on everything, and so it's like crazy to see him captive, and it's just crazy to see again, the Chancellor in the middle of war. The Chancellor has a bigger role in this film than any other Star Wars film, and it's great to see, like I said, planting the seeds into Anakin. I think is, like I said, great. It is great to see, and great to behold. And moving forward onto, so then they're crashing, and then they need to get to where they need to go, and there's great moments. Anakin has to wake Obi-Wan up, and it's just a great little action sequence. They crash the plane, and then Anakin and Obi-Wan have this banter. And at the time, we didn't see any of this stuff about, oh, I saved you for the 10th time. We didn't see that. And I mean, we see Anakin save Obi-Wan a plethora of times in Clone Wars, so that's enough needed. And then you got, the scene where the Chancellor comes back and talks to Mace and all that. And then Padme, rocking the Princess Leia hair, runs over to Anakin, and then they talk about being pregnant. And I like this sequence was there's a bright hallway, but this is kind of in the dark. And I just think you could just tell that it's Anakin's just overwhelmed. And I think that's another part to describe Anakin in this film is he's hit with all these news. He's going to be a father. He's married. He wants to be more. He wants to be more than what he is, or at least thinks he's more than what he is, and so this father notion is just belated him, but it's just at a wrong place for Anakin. You could tell, and it's Padme and Anakin's relationship were never the best relationships in Star Wars, but that doesn't mean it's not great. That doesn't mean it's not devoted and exciting and derivative. And I would get a real kick out of it, but at the same time, it's this kind of chunk of the film is not action-packed. It's more of the slow burn of more straws on the camel's back to ultimately break the camel's back. Because everybody criticizes this film for, he just turned evil because, he wanted to save Padme. But that's not just it. That's the final straw on the camel's back type thing. But there's so much more throughout the prequels, throughout Clone Wars. And you just see that. And throughout, this film, there's multiple scenes. And I think watching the prequels with Clone Wars in context makes the prequels and makes Anakin and Padme's relationship all the more stronger. So yeah, I think that is very, very exciting. And then Chancellor wants Anakin to be part of the council. They say, you can be part of the council, but you will not be able to be a master. And I think people are confused between the rank of master and having a Padawan and you being a master. Because it's you can't be a master with a Padawan, but you might not be ranked a master. They may call it Master Anakin, but that doesn't mean he's the rank of Anakin. For example, when Obi-Wan became Anakin's master, Obi-Wan wasn't a master, per se, rank-wise. There's a difference. So being on the Jedi Council, not being the rank of Master. And obviously at the time they didn't know about Ahsoka, but it's easy just to kind of separate having a Padawan and you're being the Master to the Padawan versus being of the rank on a Jedi Council being a Master. So yeah, he's outraged, and it's like, again, these are seeds, because Palpatine wants to create a scenario that he knows the Council will not agree to that. But Anakin's naive enough to at least ask and to propose that option, only to be realized that, yeah, that's not going to work out in his favor, and just, again, planting seeds in a way that seems innocent to the head, seems innocent, but ultimately he knows the conflict going in Anakin, and so he sees, let's give that extra push just a little bit more. And then they want to spy on Anakin, and like I said, once you see the Clone Wars final arc, it does put a lot more context into that. Very much. And again, like I said, it's interesting because it's not right to spy, but that it's like part of Anakin is that he's loyal to some people, but part of it is like he's loyal to Palpatine. That's the thing. Is Anakin is bad and all, and Darth Vader's bad and all, but you can't deny that he's loyal. And so you see the loyalty, but something not the Jedi are not loyal to. And so you see that, and you see Obi-Wan look concerned, and Obi-Wan throughout this whole film is worried, and where I think he denied it to himself that he was losing Anakin as a friend and as a fellow Jedi and as a master to apprentice. But he always denied it to himself. But when he saw Anakin's footage of him killing Jedi later, it just added so much more and just confirmed what he had already feared. And that's why Obi-Wan's so great in the prequels, is because you see that throughout the whole prequels, you see him constantly bicker with Anakin. But especially in this film, they are friends, but slowly but surely you see seeds of the dark side plant into Anakin's brain. And Obi-Wan just did not, was pointed the wrong in Anakin out, but not fully believe it and deny it to himself that Anakin's, turning to the dark side. But yeah, the opera sequence is great. But, shoot, I forgot a sequence. Before we get to the opera sequence, we have to talk about the dreams, and the dreams of Anakin thinking his kids will be lost to childbirth, and not kids, Padme will. And it is heart-wrenching because you see that's horrible dream, but Anakin, as a person thinking better of himself, he thinks, number one, that it's certain death, and number two, that he knows that there's a power to stop that. And that's powerful. In this idea of, Padme is a good person. Padme and Anakin are somewhat polar opposites, but somewhat not. Somewhat similar, but different. Similar in some ways, but different in others. Which, again, leads us to that great opera sequence, but in talking about the Darth Plagueis the Wise, and, again, seeds of deception, seeds of stuff that Palpatine has to sculpt in a way that Anakin can understand. And Anakin can understand what's going on top of the great visuals of the kind of opera-esque of itself. And this idea of, Anakin wants to learn. Anakin soul-heartedly believes he can be a Jedi and accomplish so much more. He doesn't want to throw the Jedi beliefs behind. He thinks they're doing the right thing. He thinks so highly of the Jedi, but he thinks of himself so highly among the fellow Jedi. And while slowly but surely this idea that he can't learn the way to save himself through a Jedi, it just adds and adds more layer where you could just see him in the face where he is that conflict in him of, do I struggle to be who I strive to be, or do I struggle to be with who I need to be and who I should be? And it's just so many different conflicts going through his brain, and that idea of again, Plagueis being someone who can cheat death, but he can't cheat himself. And I guess seeds of, because Anakin's also a person who won't give up, who is competitive, who always strives to be better than everybody else. And so that seed of saying, oh, Plagueis couldn't save himself, is not seeds of Anakin getting scared to learn this, but being more excited to accomplish what others couldn't, I guess. And then cutting straight from him saying, not from a Jedi, you just understand, wow. You just understand the great lengths, again, Anakin would go to for, like I said, people he's loyal to. And the whole Kashyyyk sequence was great. I love Kashyyyk. We didn't see much of it, but I love seeing Kashyyyk. And I love seeing Chewie back. I mean, seeing Chewie was great. And then they then they send Obi-Wan to Utapau, and like I said, Anakin was not happy about that. But and again, more, I'll constantly say it till he makes the ultimate turn to the dark side. Of more and more seeds are added. As for the Battle of Kashyyyk itself, it was brief but exciting. I like Easter egg of Illuminara Unduli, Scout Troopers, Chewie in the action, and whole out Wookiee battle, amazing. And with the beaches and all that, it looks like a kind of Scarif-esque location before Scarif came out, or was a big thing in the Star Wars universe. Then, as for Utapau, he kind of Obi-Wan goes to Utapau and meets with Tian Madan, I think. And by the way, Utapau looks great. Utapau is a great locale. Anyways, Grievous is there, and he talks to Sidious about how Dooku's dead, and like I said, it's just Sidious doesn't care about Grievous. He doesn't care about all these places, and I think it is very crazy that and it is unique that he deployed all the different Jedi across the Outer Rim, so that ultimately nobody could have really suspected what was happening, and get ready for Order 66, and so Anakin can really have the seeds planted and, followed through with that, is great, and it has always been and always will be great. And then for the Grievous, let's talk about the lizard. That lizard creature was pretty cool. I mean, like I said, nothing much to the lizard creature, but he's kind of cool, but not really cool at the same time. Like, cool, but not cool. He's just okay. He's just okay. Anyways, what's his face? Oh yeah, Obi-Wan jumps down to Grievous, and then they have, the duel. And like I said, it's pretty brief. And it was unfortunate because it's like you have this idea for a mechanical creature with 4 arms going at it with Obi-Wan. It's like, oh, this seems like such a cool sequence. But then he loses a limb, and then another limb, and then has like maybe a few slashes with Obi-Wan, and then loses all his lightsabers, and it just becomes like a fist fight with like a few things. And I think for the fist fight and the brief lightsaber battle was cool, and I think Grievous was utilized to enough of an extent, because again, Grievous was obviously very, very much meant to be a prime, meant to be a distraction, a mere distraction for what was really going on, because ultimately his plan was never to follow through with Grievous, follow through with Dooku. It was always to end up with, Anakin and Vader by his side, and it's always excited and thrilled me. And moving forward on, and then the clones come, and then there's again a cool kind of sequence of the clones. Grievous and Obi-Wan do have a little bit of a fist fight, and it ends with Obi-Wan shooting Grievous, and he calling the blaster uncivilized. I like the platform that they were on. I think it was cool, and fighting next to Grievous' ship. It was cool. I think like one of the very, very few fist fights in the franchise and in the universe. Moving forward with things, we get to basically there's this whole meeting with that we saw directly in Clone Wars, and it definitely adds a lot more context to see the sequence added with all the people in the boardroom. So that was always exciting to me. And then they tell Anakin to deliver a message to Palpatine about all the different stuff about like that Obi-Wan was in contact with Grievous. And yeah, more seeds are added. He's wearing that red outfit. And then him saying that he's a Sith Lord and all that. And said certain death. And I think like he knew, okay, Anakin's not going to do it. Because he knows if he might turn it in, but he might change his mind in the sense that it's like Palpatine's wise. It's interesting because Palpatine's wise, but he doesn't use his wise mind for a good reason. He uses it obviously for evil and villainous things. But anyways, again, he's setting more and more seeds into Anakin, talking about certain death. And this idea of certain death is, well, Anakin knows now that Palpatine's a Sith Lord, and he also knows that he just said certain death. So put two and two together, he might actually be certain that he's gonna die. And I really do think like this mass idea of what's really going on, and you could just see that Anakin is conflicted because he's conflicted throughout this whole film. Do I kill Dooku? Do I keep Dooku? Do I leave Obi-Wan? Do I take Obi-Wan? Do I follow Palpatine? Do I actually spy on him? Do I turn in Palpatine? Do I stick with Palpatine? Do I kill Mace Windu? Do I keep Mace Windu alive? Do I kill Padme? Do I keep her alive? Do I do all this and do that and then that and that? And so you see a whole film of him being conflicted, and you could just tell in that whole sequence where he doesn't want to kill him, where he might say that he wants to because he's trying to not let the dark side get the better of himself, but he has all these reasons to let the dark side get the better of himself. So it is very much a conflicting thing. This is actually going to be part 1 of my Revenge of the Sith full film breakdown, as I am getting kind of hungry. Stay tuned for more videos coming right at you.